Hello and welcome to my channel, or back to my channel. Today I'm just going to talk a little bit more about caregiving, which is the primary focus of my life. Wearing my headphones because I like to. Going through a lot of the medications and the various creams and all that. I mean, all these things that they throw at you from the medical field just begin to pile up, and then you begin to lose track unless you're a medical professional or really obsessive about it, where you're keeping lists and you understand, which I admit you really ought to do. Get the clipboard out, put it down, what things do, because some of the medications that look like the same thing, little tubes or big tubes, are for very, very different purposes, and you really can't mix them up. But anyway, I was going through some of the medications because there are a lot, and a lot of the pills, the prescription pills, the non-prescription pills, the creams, and the antibiotics, and the steroids, and the barrier creams, and all that. And it gets a bit overwhelming, especially when you space it out the way I did. And it worked for a long time, but it has begun to get a little problematic, because you buy in advance for some things, and you order when you can reorder a prescription or something, but you have to wait for a specific time to reorder. And sometimes that's not within the same window as when you'll get it sent to you. For us, we go through the VA can take time to send it to the house. And they could put the order in, but I would have to get in the car and drive 12 miles to the big VA hospital, go inside, go to the pharmacy to pick up the thing. And a lot of times they won't put it off to like Kroger or something. But it's just part of the game. So what I got today was, I ordered something, but it's a medical storage box, exquisite office and healthy storage. Plastic trays for easy storage, portable handle for easy carrying. Now, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than this, but you can also use it for other stuff. Doesn't have to be for medicine, but this might help me out at least for the data, the once in a while, the stuff I don't really need to keep up, like the backup supplies, for sure the bandages, because I need different bandages, and wraps and creams and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and play with this, bring it out, and have a look at it. It's a tiered storage. You unclip it. You then take it up, turn it over, because there's a handle at the top. Put it on line. Put it in place. Lock the bottom. Little tabs. And there you go. Then you have this. And that's not too bad. It's not super big, but it's not too bad. And then when you want to get something out of the top, you just take that off and you get to the top. And if you wanted to get something out of, say, this one here, you'd unlock it and lift it up, and there you go, and you got this. And so that's why I got it. Even though these aren't super big, they could fit specific things I need to have in there, like bandages and other stuff. And it's not, It's not weak. I mean, I wouldn't treat it roughly, that's for sure. But you can't. There's no window at the bottom, which is okay, because that's gonna be some stuff. But then this simply goes up. Now think about if you're gonna use it for pens and pencils and paper and other things, or cords, computer cords. As long as you just don't dump them in there. You use it for toys, I guess, cards and things like that. I wouldn't do that. Now, one of the reasons I bought the smaller one, even though I thought it might be a little bit bigger than this, was because it's not just me. What if I could pick up heavy things, because I'm not quite that old yet, but other caregivers might not be able to do that. Some of the people that come to help me with my dad might not be able to lift this up or get this off the shelf or whatever. So I was thinking about maybe if I got multiples of these, a couple of these, they would come in handy. Now, I did have these, and these are nice. They don't lock at the top, but they're nice for storage, and I keep they're really nice to go inside my bookcase in my computer room or my bedroom. I used to have a computer room, and they go on a shelf, and it can stack, and they keep the pressure the same across the shelf, so it doesn't begin to buckle at certain points. But it also wonderfully, even though it has these openings here for the fingers, it and even with the loose top that doesn't actually clip on, it keeps dust away from out of it. It's unbelievable. There's no dust that gets in these little holes, probably because there's no air movement. But you can see that I've got a lot of bandages of different types and stuff. But so there's only so much you can do with this. There's only so much you can do with this. And it all goes into one thing, and I have multiples of those, and so I think I'm going to start off with putting my bandages. I have other ones where I've got open top ones with nice sections in them, but of course, you never know. One day you're going to get a bottle that fits. The next one you get won't fit, and so you need to plan these kind of things out. Now, I wish this was deeper, but that's okay. I'm going to go with something else later. And I got all these little very specific bandage types and petroleum bandages and all sorts of stuff. I swear I feel like a doctor sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this organized. Another good thing about this is more or less this is airtight. I'm not going to say it's the perfect, it's not going to air, it's not going to leak out, but protect some of the things you already have open. Okay, so what I've learned so far is that the top drawer with the lid on it, you can put things a bit taller. But in the other ones, you can't, because this goes down inside. So instead of top with a space, it's now taking away the space. So you'd have to consider that before whatever you put in that the second and third shelf, whatever it is. Now you can put that in there like that. Let me lock that in without forcing it. And there we go. Now the clips, the latches are okay. But they're not locked tight. They lock just enough, but they're not gonna, they're gonna be easy to pop off if you're not careful. So you gotta make sure they're locked down. And I guess that would depend on how much stuff you have in it that's pushing up against it. And they don't lock, they're not exactly perfect in alignment unless you do the alignment yourself. So maybe that's why they don't lock in as strong as you thought. So you do that, make sure they're aligned properly. That's okay. I'm not sure that's going to work on the top though, because I got this a little bit taller. But it should, based on what my test earlier, because the lid has a space. So, but you still have the lip or the thing that you want to put that in there, and that works. Make sure it's aligned. Snap shut, that's good. And then put this in. Snap shut. Make sure they're all in there right. There you go. Now, why did I take out these? Because I thought about it, and they can't go in standing up, and I already have a couple of a couple bottles in there that are the newer ones. The older ones can stay out. So I was thinking about it. Saline wound care. You're not always going to need a bandage. You might need some gauze or some paper towels to clean up a scrape or to clean around some area. These can stay out, and you don't have to take this out every time you're going to clean it. So the things you're using every single day, you might not store in there or only store on the very top. I'm not going to need bandages every day. I'm not going to need petroleum wound covers and all that every day. I'm not going to need wraps every day. And if I did, boy, what a heck of a day that would be. Every single day doing that. But this is a nice little thing. And I got it all in there in one thing. I still have space down here for more things. But this one here is going to be specifically for wound care, bandages, and suppositories and things like of that nature that I'm not using all the time. That's what this one's going to go for. And if I buy another one of this type or similar, that can reduce my overload quite significantly. But it also, while I'm thinking about, I've got this, I've just released the need. I freed up this, and I freed up this. And now I can use this for daily things. Pretty sure this will be all right. I don't think it's so sturdy that you could just pick it up and drop it by mistake or get knocked over without it causing some damage. I don't think it's that kind of sturdy. But it's only like $30. Luckily, I returned some pants, sweatpants on Amazon because they were way too long and had some issues. So they gave me credit back. So I actually got this for nothing. Well, I got this for the price of 3 sweatpants. So that's a good. This is a good start. Now, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put this up in a closet, up on the shelf, and then stand back and breathe, live with it for a little while to see if it's working for me, if it's giving me more space, if it's reducing the mental clutter, and then I can begin planning on other things that I'm going to do. And I know what the size is, what's going to fit in this, what's not going to fit in this, what's going to fit in each drawer. So this is a good medical thing. I wouldn't personally be using this for my daily medications. I don't think it's as sturdy as for day-to-day, everyday use. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, it'll free up some of these where I could put other things in this and reorganize myself a little bit more and even use this in different places or for different things. And I know this top doesn't adhere, doesn't lock in. But the beauty of this, if you've got one of those, I mean, if you've got the closet, and in the linen closets and other closet they have one of those ventilated shelves, you know, with the slots in it. They're ventilated. They're not solid. They're wired or wires, basically. And they're not a solid piece of wood like they used to do in the old days, which is a better thing, actually. Um, so these things are wonderful for them when you put them in the air because they keep everything where I could do it. Now, if I can put the top on it, I could put another one on top of this and stack it up, or put one with a smaller one like this on top of it. And that's wonderful. That's why I bought these specific ones. And these ones have lids too. But if you can't put that on there, you put this lid down on the shelf, and it would fit like this. And then you could put your loose pill bottles on top, and your lotions and things, because anything you put on that little wire thing always flip over. So these do multiple double duties or whatever else. That's a wonderful thing. So that's what I'm going to be trying out to declutter, to figure out what I got to do and how I'm going to do it. But for now, got the wound care stuff out of the way. Got my special things, which I could actually put these in that case because there are multiple bottles of barrier cream. But then I break down this, and I know this is a cheap way to do it with stickums, but I broke down the antibiotic creams, the antifungals, and the steroids, which you can't mix up because you don't want to put a steroid on something. But look at all these bottles. They look exactly that. They're pretty much the same. They have very similar names, like Bactricin or whatever the heck it is. And then you wonder about the triple antibiotic cream. Well, what's that? What's this? This is inside of this with two other things. The things we have to figure out in caregiving. So that's what I did with this. This can go on top of this. And other things I use, I can put these down here. And this is the day to work, and I have to work it out, and I can't just jump to the end and think this one little case, medical supply case, is going to solve it for me. It's not. It's going to get me to a point where I can see where I can do things differently, or maybe not have to do that and invest in that. And then when my caregivers go over, I could reuse that case for cables and pens and pads and sticky notes. So that's where I am here. Anyway, thanks for visiting my channel, and I hope this helps some of you. And I'll see you again at another time.